Welcome to True Sound Radio. I'm your host, Phoenix. With the rise in COVID-19 cases in Vancouver and across the country, we've decided to conduct our interviews online through Zoom. So today we are speaking with Napa Cabbage. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. So tell us a bit about how Napa Cabbage was formed, and I'm very curious about how you decided on your name. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Sam and I actually met at the Art Institute of Vancouver. We both went there right after high school, and we had these aspiring dreams to become pro musicians. And so that we're like, where should we go? So that's we both independently, obviously, ended up there, and that's where we met. And then we did 2 years of that, and then
after we graduated, we actually went our separate ways for a bit. Jeff actually went into he joined another duo.
I had another project.
Yeah, he had another project called Tiger Hoods. I ended up working for a multicultural radio station, so we kind of did that for a few years, and almost like 5 years later, we met up again. We just bumped into each other at a mall actually. Yeah. So we went out for beers, and then we hung out in the studio. We jammed a bit, and actually we created our first remix.
Yeah, it was a jam remix of an artist from Taiwan. So that was pretty fun. And then we just did it for fun. We had no idea it was gonna do anything, and then we put it up on YouTube, and then it actually got some decent plays. Yeah, and we're like, let's just keep going.
Yeah, that's how it started. Yeah, totally.
And in terms of your name, why that? I mean, I know that it's like a vegetable, but
yes.
There's a deeper meaning to it.
But other than it's high in fiber and it's a great staple for your diet, right?
Right.
So there's many layers to it. One of the things is that it symbolizes kind of longevity, which is really important to us. Yeah, really nice. Actually, the Chinese characters for Napa Cabbage, we feel that, what they mean and all that stuff really expresses how beneficial it has been for us to kind of just embrace each other's backgrounds and learn from each other. And, it really impacted how, us as artists and individuals as well. So we just thought, this is an all-encompassing name that's super deep. Let's just be Napa Cabbage.
Yeah. And that's basically where it came from, and tastes good too.
No, you have to have a little fun with it, actually.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Can't be too serious, especially right now. Speaking of that, I'm curious, what is your favorite recipe that includes Napa Cabbage? Have you thought about that?
Yeah,
Do you
totally.
Eat it together and bro out, or what?
Yeah. Generalized thing would be like, it tastes amazing in like hot pot.
Yeah, hot pot stuff.
So true.
Yeah, definitely a staple.
You had a recipe you wanted us to try though, right?
There's this kind of in Shanghai cuisine, there's this stir fry where it's like they have these thick noodles that they stir together with, like, usually it's eggs and meat or something, that also Napa cabbage is a big part of it. I think that one is delicious.
Yeah.
And everyone should try it somehow. Yes.
I need to try it.
I am gonna go and order it right away, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Skip the dishes right now.
Totally available there. Yeah.
You going back a little bit, you were talking about your Taiwanese artists that you worked with. Yeah, I think you've worked with a couple of them now, right? So how has that experience been, and how has the collaboration been, and what's the process involved in that?
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things, especially because like when we worked with them when we were just starting out. So it was very cool to just kind of see how an artist on such a higher level caliber like works and goes through like the recording process and everything. And even the business end of things. And it's just cool to see and have kind of like a standard of seeing how we should be doing our things, right?
Yeah, like a standard to strive for. Because I think it's really interesting when you see how they work and how they think, as full-time artists and things like that, and we're getting to that point too, is, when they think of their music and their art, that's almost like the priority over everything else. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because you'd be in mid-conversation, they'd be like, hold up. And they got to go.
I have an idea.
And they just disappear.
They'd run to the piano.
Or something like that. And you'd be like, a lot of times, like, for us, even though we've been in music all our lives, a lot of times, when we think of something inspirational, we'd be like, oh, but people are around, I should kind of be like, polite, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't like it's not like they weren't polite either. It was just kind of like, what's your priorities? And it was really interesting to experience that.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's cool because we were able to go there, and we were in Taiwan, and we got to work with 2 of the artists, and that was really cool to just kind of see their background, like how they live and like their culture and everything.
Yes.
And so that was just like a lot of fun. So it was definitely a big experience for us, and we're so thankful that we had to have that.
Yeah.
That
Traveling
sounds
is
like a really amazing experience to be able to travel already, you know. And create music with various types of people from different cultures. It just sounds amazing.
Exactly.
It is. Yeah.
I have other than your own music, what's your favorite future-based track to play that's not your own? I'm curious.
But I'm just gonna say it's "Crawl Out of Love" by Illenium. I know it's so easy to say Illenium, but I love that song.
Yeah.
Like anytime that we hear that song, it just takes us takes us to a whole nother level. It's just it's hard to explain. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
When we first heard that song, honestly, it got so much inspiration, and that's kind of like songs like that is kind of what started to drive us into the direction that we're going. So yeah, no, it's one of those songs that you can play on repeat like a million times over, and it's never gonna go to old.
Could you maybe describe what about the track musically is inspiring? Because I know you were singing like sort of a riff there, like maybe there's something particularly about the track that draws you to it. I know it's well known, but there's probably something in that, you know.
It's something in the like the melody structure of that song that just kind of pulls you in. It's just like those first chords. It's like, you know, it's hard to explain, but
no, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and then just the vocal just carries you right through it. So it's just something about that song that if you hear it, and for the people that have heard it, I'm sure they agree with me.
Agree totally.
It's just
Yeah, no, that's true. Is there how would you start a set? Like, would you start with your own track? Would you start with something that people like, you know, sometimes they have those little speeches they throw in, like what sort of, how do you start a set? How do you get people in that like mood?
Like ideally, like if because you know, a lot of times when we do shows, it depends, but if it was like a set which we had 100% control over and we're starting it, I think we always like to start with some like super orchestral, epic, like kind of like you know, almost like a cinematic theme, kind of just to open. And it leads in, and you know,
and I think and we've in the past we've definitely we used to rely on like other artists' songs first, just because like they're so big, and we were like, at the time we're still like, learning, but now like we're stoked because we have like a few songs that are like have not come out yet that we're kind of like at that caliber in our opinions that we're going to be starting to throw our own stuff out there, and we definitely want to have like more orchestral intros and things because that's kind of what we love. So
because I think at the end of the day, because we were actually classically trained, and you know, exactly. So orchestral things, you know, strings, horns, you know, a lot of that stuff that really, you know,
what did you both play?
We both actually started playing piano. So we never knew each other until the Art Institute.
Okay.
But we both ended up starting playing piano at the age of 4. We both went up to grade 8 and then said, we're done with this.
Classically that.
Classically that is. So very, very similar on that front. And then, so it was kind of funny when we met up and met each other.
Very similar backgrounds, just sort of parallel backgrounds that
exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense is why you ended up together.
Yeah.
So what's the vibe of your latest original track, Stars? I'm just wondering if you could share a little bit about your experience producing the track and why you're so excited about it.
Yeah. You want to take on?
Oh, well, the vibe. Okay. What's really special about this one, I feel, compared to our other stuff, I think is that Stars was one of the tracks that we really explored the orchestral side of things. We always added elements of strings and things like that, but this one, Stars, really, like if you listen to the instrumental, really featured the strings and
underneath if you listen to it, especially when you're listening to it underneath the vocal, it's actually very much driven by a French horn. That's like the actual main lead in the pre-drops. And then we just kind of infused it with a couple synthesizers just to give it that more powerful sound. But
that's really interesting. You don't really hear French horn very often.
Totally not.
In any genre that's electronic that I'm aware of. So that's interesting.
I'm a nerd Oh, go ahead.
What made you think of the French horn? Like, was it just the sound?
Yeah, so basically I'm a nerd when it comes to like Star Trek and stuff. And I remember listening in the back in the day, like all the themes to like a lot of those Star Trek shows was like French horn was like one of the main things. And that kind of just popped into my head when we were writing this song.
Yeah, it's a very good like lead kind of sound for brass. Like, you know, sometimes trumpets too like in your face or too sharp, but like the French horn, it's still got that, you know, kind of sawy vibe to it, but it's, you know, smoother, like a lot smoothened out compared to any of the other brass.
Yeah, no, I'm just I'm just singing the song in my head now. It's like da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That's great. I'm slightly a Trekkie too, so don't worry about it.
There you go. That's awesome.
So anyway, so you've mentioned it's got this like new sound to it. Could you talk about your new sound a little bit?
Yeah, so it's basically our new. So when we started, when we were in AI and before, we were definitely more infused with like pop music and rock music and kind of stuff like that. So when you listen to our older stuff, it's definitely more like poppy, future bassy kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So when Stars started, it still sounds it's still definitely more of that poppy side, but that's kind of that track where we started to really infuse both the more orchestral stuff and also the poppy stuff, right? So that's kind of where we experimented with that. And kind of just going forward, we've definitely put a lot more of like the symphonic stuff in it, and we're also experimenting with like some melodic dubstep kind of styles and kind of putting it all together. So it's definitely more of like a harder symphonic orchestral-ish power sound, something you'd hear like if Hans Zimmer
did melodic dubstep. That's pretty much that's what we're shooting for right now.
Exactly.
Figuring out the remixes.
Totally.
And one thing to add, I was just going to say with Stars, and like obviously we're so lucky to get to work with Ophelia with releasing that, and that felt like the perfect home for that song, because it's just like that whole label, I love that label. Seven Lions especially. But like it just
that's a big deal to be part of a label like that. So
it's a dream come true. It's honestly a dream come true. And it just felt like the perfect home, because like all the songs that are coming out of those guys, it's like that big saw sound and everything like that. So so
it sounds like, to me it sounds like 2020 has been actually a time of real growth for you as a duo. I'm just wondering if there's anything else you might speak to about, you know, how the year has gone for you as a duo, or like, you know, as a career artist in the industry. How has it been, other than, you know, I guess this whole new sound thing that's pretty great in its own, but
well, I guess like a lot of, you know, everybody's, you know, we can't do shows anymore and stuff like that, so that's kind of like impacted us in its own way. But so a lot of moving online, right? I think one of the biggest benefits is that we get to start focus a lot more on producing. Like we've always focused on producing, you know, being producers is our main thing. But not being able to do live shows kind of like helped us really hone in on that some more. And not having to stay up at 4 a.m. and try to recover the next day really was, you know, my face cleared up a little bit, I guess, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, like, you know, as much as, you know, there's a lot going on with COVID and it's scary out there, but, you know, we were able to kind of, you know, there's some light, you know, within all this. So, you know, we just try to tap into that and make the best out of it, right? So
it's kind of given us like that, just like that break to, there's less things to focus on at right now, so we're able to like put way more attention into things that matter, like for us specifically, like producing and everything like that.
No, it's true. It's sort of a night owl industry, so I can imagine that's not easy to deal with.
No, exactly.
So I'm wondering, what's going to happen in 2021? What can we expect from the two of you?
Well, we do have quite a few tracks already completed, so that we definitely have the goal to be putting out way more music on the regular now. So, and just like trying to build our networks with the other people in the industry and things like that. So that's like our big focus. Like we were just, 2021 is our
Well, every year since we started, we're always like, 2019 is going to be our
Right.
year. 2020 is going to be our year.
year.
So now 2021 really is going to be our year.
Yeah, we'll say that now
Time's
on
the
this.
charm.
Yeah, we'll say that now on this interview, and we'll look back in a year and
You'd
see
be like,
if we
oh yeah,
actually
that
did
was
it.
the year. Well, we were just lucky. Every year something good happens, so we're expecting 2021 to be the same. A lot of, because we were locked down, we did do a lot of prep work, so we are ready for 2021 when it comes. And there's going to be a lot of releases, a lot of collabs, so we're really excited for that too. Yeah.
Yeah, so are we. We're really excited to hear more of your music. So anyway,
Mhm.
thank you so much for being here with us today and for taking the time out of your busy schedules. And
No, of course,
really
anytime.
appreciated it, and we're excited for the future.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun. So thank you. Thank you for taking the
Thanks.
time.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Restless nights can't catch my mind when it starts to crumble.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Napa Cabbage in the mix with True Center.